First of all, a very good morning to Jakarta. So nice to be here. I am Dippak. I am the founder of a company called VMAX. And the company is based, headquartered in India, but we have operations across Southeast Asia and India. What VMAX does is basically, if you're an app publisher and you're looking at maximizing ARPUs from your users, we come and help you with that. So, pulling back to, the subject of my presentation, I want to first give you a little context here. Basically, as a founder of VMAX, I'm constantly meeting a lot of app entrepreneurs. I'm meeting game developers, big and small. I meet large publishers. I meet large e-commerce companies, okay? I also meet, founders. I meet product managers, I meet business heads, and the nature of my job, the role I play at VMAX as a founder, I do spend a lot of time with investors. So in the last 8-9 months, I've been spending a lot of time with this ecosystem. And obviously, what is common across the ecosystem is everyone deeply cares about the mobile internet opportunity. Okay? Everyone is super excited about it. Everyone is thinking about that how do we participate into this opportunity. Danny spoke about consumer behavior. He gave a lot of insights how people behave, how the mobile internet consumer behaves. So whilst he spoke about that, in my conversation I'm going to talk about people who understand this consumer behavior, but are struggling. I'm making a point that people understand this consumer behavior, but all the guys in the ecosystem are struggling. What are they really struggling for? Okay, they basically are trying to understand that, hey, what should be my priority be? Whilst the opportunity is massive, it is overwhelming, it is exciting, but when I get down in my office and I start making a list of my priorities, I'm confused. Yeah. So my presentation is talking to those people who have bundled up a lot of insights and understanding about this ecosystem, about the user, about the market, and this is an attempt, and it's come out of all those conversations, which is about unbundling their thinking or unbundling the market opportunity. So hence the title of the topic is called Unbundling Mobile Indonesia, okay? Okay, so what are we talking about? Just taking a step back and starting from the bottom of the pyramid, Indonesia, as we all know it. What are we talking? We're talking about 259 million people, 85 million mobile internet users, 65 million smartphone users, 40% year-on-year growth on app downloads. Exciting. Everyone is talking about this matrix and really getting inspired with this. However, I want to remind people that when they're thinking about this, what you saw in the previous slide that is how you know it. But in this slide, I'm going to say that this is how we should know it. This is how we should know the market. You can't look at Indonesia as one country. You can't look at Indonesia as one Indonesia. Okay? Look at Indonesia as 3 different worlds. There is Indonesia 3 to begin with, which is roughly 56% of Indonesia. The income level of these people are sub 3 million rupiahs, 3 million, yeah? So that's the first segment. You go to Indonesia 2, they earn between 3 to 5 million, yeah? And then finally, which is roughly about 25-28% of the population. And then you have Indonesia 1, which is 16%, which has an income of more than 5 million. So it's important that when you are whether you are a young startup or you are a Tokopedia, anyone, you deeply care about understanding your market and breaking your market into 3 key segments, which is Indonesia 3, Indonesia 2, Indonesia 1. Yeah? Most times, founders, product managers, technology guys, they get so excited with the consumer behavior, they forget the market. So you need to balance the understanding of consumer behavior with a very sound understanding of the market. That's the first point I had. I'll move to my second point. The second point to remember about the market is Indonesia is a low ARPU market. The average revenue per user is less. Now, to drive this point, take different industries. You look at apparels, you look at transport, you look at food. If you look at how people indulge with this industry, you go to big malls, but there are plenty of people who go to the street malls as well. They buy apparels from there. When you look at transport, yes, you have people who drive the best cars, but there is a vast majority of people who are price sensitive. Okay? Every industry understands that Indonesia is a low ARPU market. Okay. Now, in my previous slide, I had shown different industry. Now, if you look at the FMCG industry, we have to learn from that industry. They unbundled the Indonesia market. You know how? Because they came up with sachet-based offerings. Roughly 33% of Unilever's revenue, comes from sales of small packs. This is how they unbundled Indonesia market. I'm emphasizing that in order to make their business very large, they had to unbundle their thinking. They don't do this in developed markets. But when they came here, they decided that, look, this is the market, hence my products should get aligned to the type of consumers the market has. Yeah? What did telcos do? If you look at the last 10 years, the telco guys borrowed the learning from the FMCG industry. So they stole the learning. They understood that, look, these guys have unbundled the market. We should learn from that insight and come up with SKUs, come up with packs. So you have recharges for as little as 5,000 rupiah, right? So they came up with this part. Why? So that they could, in many ways, penetrate the market, build a large business for that market, and tackle 3 markets in Indonesia. Indonesia 3, Indonesia 2, and Indonesia 1. Now let's shift. We spoke a lot about large enterprises from other industries. Now let's come closer to the digital ecosystem. Okay? Let's look at Gojek. Okay, how have they attempted to unbundle Indonesia as a market? You look at GoRide, it's a classic example of penetrating Indonesia 3, yeah? Because the product is such that it can penetrate into Indonesia 3, yeah? You look at the GoCar, it tackles Indonesia 2 and Indonesia 1, yeah? So that's how they're winning the market, and that's how they're winning the market. You look at Grab. What is Grab's attempt? Again, to unbundle Indonesia, not to win Indonesia. Okay? Everyone thinks that I want to win, but everyone forgets that they need to unbundle. So they decided to unbundle the market. So when you look at Grab Bike, when you look at Grab Hitch, or when you look at Grab Car, all of this put together is a manifestation of systematically navigating the market opportunity and winning 3, 2, and 1. Okay, as people start navigating the ecosystem of making their penetration into various segments of the market, these companies, these businesses, they go back and they remind themselves of the second rule, that Indonesia is a low ARPU market. So I need to do things which can help me increase my ARPUs. Yeah? I need to build a business which can go out and think. My strategy has to be about how to get higher ARPUs from users. So whilst their core business, is for Grab, the core business is transportation. When they place ads on the cars, it is a manifestation of building another stream of revenue. And popularly, it is called as value-added revenue. So any business, any app business which you are trying to build, remember that you're going to build something which is core, and at some point of time, you have to start building a value-added revenue if you believe that you want to win this market. You have to already be aligned to that thought. What I found across most companies is that people forget this fundamental, that they're just so busy. They're just so busy in executing what they're doing, or they are so much deeply in love with the consumer behavior that they forget how to build a great business. I'll give more examples here. When you look at, Gojek, it started off, with bike rides. Now they do food, they do a variety of other things. Again, I'm emphasizing here that they are building more value-added revenue to their business so that, they have a cost structure, they have a cost of marketing, cost of customer acquisition is very expensive. So over time, you come up and say core revenue, and let me start thinking, how do I get more ARPU from my users? You look at mobile operators. Telecom operators, their core business is selling you voice and data. For a long period of time, they sold you voice and data. And at some point, they started thinking of value-added revenue. Now, whether value-added revenue is called mobile content, is called mobile advertising, all that adds up, again, with the philosophy that 3, 2, 1, and ARPU enhancement. You look at airlines, when they put ads on boarding passes or when you're flying, again, a manifestation of maximizing ARPUs from a particular market.